So this next person has been my mentor. She taught me the value of short form and how to do less is more. And I'm a talker, so it's been great. She has taught me so much about the power of super short videos. And she has been a successful social media agency that she runs with her husband in New Jersey. She's also a former opera singer. She sings rock and roll. She's a cantor in her synagogue. She is a loving and kind human being. And what I love about her story is she was doing all this stuff for her clients and she got breast cancer, and she just started doing TikTok as a way to make herself giggle. And you cannot believe what happened from this thing. Like, she went viral, all this stuff crazy happened. And of course, it helped her business, but that was not even the intent. She was just sharing her journey and making herself laugh. And so that's one reason I love talking about short form video. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Nika Stewart, and Justina is going to bring that up. And you are just going to love Nika Stewart. She's just got a heart of gold, very, very talented. And
I'm so honored and excited to introduce my friend and colleague, and we even live in the same state, although we haven't met in person. She is a social media maven, an entrepreneur, a goddess with music and art and creativity, and I'm so honored that you are interviewing with us today. Nika Stewart. Yay!
You are so sweet. I am the excited one, so I'll fight you on that.
Okay. So for some people who don't know you, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are, what you do?
Yeah, I help women show up and shine as the unique, brilliant superstars that they are with video. I've been in social media for about a dozen years. I have a social media agency where we work with small businesses and have done for you services. And over the last few years, my favorite thing has been video. So I've been focusing on that. And I just think that everyone has something truly unique and amazing, and often not the thing that they think it is, that can change the world. And I want more people to really shine their awesomeness. And like I said, sometimes our awesomeness is what we think is not so awesome. Turns out to be the most awesome thing that the world needs to know about.
Yes, yes. I always, because I do story coaching too, and I always feel like I love getting the story behind the story. So, okay, so we've all heard that story before, but tell us about what happened before. I just love stories. And, you've inspired me because I love what you put out there, and you do educate and inspire in a very kind, quirky, fun, whimsical way, which I think is so great. And that's what I'm hoping some of our listeners can get, is like, you don't have to be a professional performer like Nika and I have been, but there's lots of ways. And so can you tell us a story of maybe one of your clients who thought they were not creative or fun, but then you were able to kind of help them?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there are several people specifically who have said to me, I can't do what you do because I'm boring. And that brings tears to my eye. It's so weird that, and I said this many times, and anytime I say it, I feel teary that someone thinks they're boring. I guess because I know that feeling, and I have felt that a lot. Like, I don't really have things to share that would be like, what would be so interesting? Yeah, I think even if I'm good at what I do, like, how would that translate to these fun videos? Like, I can't go viral. I'm not fun. And it
always breaks my heart too. Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess I want to, women and men, but I'm a woman, so I can relate to how it feels to want to be special. And I know that we probably all know we are, but how do we get that? How do we communicate that in a way So we can not only be seen as special, but actually that thing that where we can help other people, that comes through, and other people do feel inspired and motivated and uplifted from what we share. There's one woman specifically who about a year and a half ago said, I'm too boring, so could I really do what you're doing, going on video and reaching thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people? Like, what would that, how could that be? And we talked, and she then decided, okay, I'm going to trust the process and actually be myself. I don't have to, we talked, you don't have to dance, you don't have to shake your butt, you don't have to lip sync. That's what we all think TikTok is. So, if you aren't that young, cute, sexy tushy shaker, then how could you succeed? Well, she is adorable who she is. And she said, okay, and then I'm going to trust you, and I'm going to go out there. And she went out there and she said, I'm going to just do it, see what it's like every day for a month. And what she noticed is I'm trying to think of the math of it. I think it was approximately 100 times. I'm thinking of her numbers. Like, she went from an average number of views to 100 times as many views on all of her videos, and new followers every day started coming in on Instagram. 25% increase in her newsletter list. And if you look at her videos, you'd go, this is great stuff. She's not dancing and singing and being outrageous. She's just being herself. And after a few videos, the right people were like, oh, I like that. I connect with her. And she was consistent and showed up, and it's just beautiful. And she doesn't say she's boring anymore.
I love that. I know, it breaks my heart when people say, oh, I can't sing. I'm like, no, you just need to train your ear. And, right? And like, I believe that anybody, if they really want to practice, they can sing. They may not become Barbra Streisand, right? But yeah, I always feel like the people who think they're funny, I'm always like, oh, but the people, you know what I mean? Because sometimes it's like, you need to keep working on that. But like the people who say, oh, I'm not funny, I'm always like, that's funny right there. Because you're not, because there's like the dry, witty, quiet people with the little side quips that can be hilarious. Not everybody has to be like, hey, like,
yes.
me,
Oh, I so agree. And I happen to think that funny, like you said, it's not always the screaming in your face, like, here's the funny joke. It could be something just that's so relatable, and you just mention it or show it, and everyone goes, oh, I totally, and that's fun. Maybe not laugh out loud hysteria, but it's funny because we can relate to it.
Yes, I think the minute you say fun or humor, a lot of people go, ah, and it's like there's so many different ways you can bring it in. And so that makes me want to ask your next question. So I know your background is in performing, and how have you always brought fun to your business, or has that been an evolution? Like, you manage a team.
Yes, and starting out, it was me, so being a solopreneur, and at some point, if you run your own business, if you want to grow, you realize you do need to delegate. You can't do everything yourself. So in different businesses over the years, I've had different people as contractors and employees, and assistants, and I've always felt like freedom to me is my most important like quality that I want to keep in my life. It's why I am my own business owner, like my own boss. And fun, it's not always funny, like you're saying. It's fun in that freedom to me means being able to live my life on my terms. And so and that looks like something completely different to each individual person.
Right.
For me, I want my own schedule. So I run my own business. I've always run my own business. It doesn't mean I work less. Like, people are like, oh, you don't have to work 9 to 5.
Oh, God. Now it's 24/7.
Exactly. But it's more flexible. So if, number one, I feel like going to lunch with a friend, I could take an hour off and then just work later at night. Or if something happens, like a family member needs me, I can drop everything because I have the flexibility. It's not always easy, but you have the flexibility to run your life on your terms. And to me, that means fun is just a huge part of that. People often say, well, that's something, I'll save that for the weekend, or I'll do that when I retire, or, you know, I'm working for being able
Blah,
to
blah,
do
blah.
that, you know. I mean, but I'm like, it's Tuesday night, let's go out to dinner. Like, it's not, I want to live my life as if it's a vacation. Yes, get work done, but why wait till
Why do
vacation?
we, why do we hang on to the good silver or the fancy dress?
Exactly.
Or, you know, I'll hold on to perfume. Like, oh, I better save this for a special occasion. And I'm 54 and I'm like, Elaine, use it up. Let's do it. Right?
Awesome. Exactly. And why wait till we're 54? And I can relate since I'm 54. So
Right.
we're exactly the same age.
Yeah. No, I love that. Why not get work done, but live as if you're on a vacation? That's a fun attitude to have. And how do you deal, you know, have you ever had to deal with a tense conversation with team, or like I know you work with your husband, which like, wow, do you use humor in that relationship?
Oh my gosh. We have to. And we don't always remember. Thank goodness he does remember, probably more often than me. He's the kind of person who, if I'm having an argument with my daughter and things seem tense, he'll leave the room and come back in wearing a big hat or something big and ridiculous, and walk in, and the two of us will turn to him and then forget about what we're arguing about. So he's good at that, and I've learned to be more like him. But you know, we're a couple. We
Right.
have our nice arguments here and there. I always say working with him is mostly wonderful. It's not 100% wonderful. But I have to remember that years ago, I was growing a business by myself and I was loving it. And he was running his own business, but he was getting to a place where he was not that happy. And my dream was to grow my business big enough where I could say, just come work with me and we can love what we do together. And that happened. And so when I get frustrated, I have to remember, no, this is my dream. We're both doing what we love now. So
Wow.
even when things get crazy, I try to remind, just like it says behind you, remember why you started. I have to thank you for that reminder.
Right. It's one of my favorite all-time quotes. I saw it at my yoga studio and I just was like, oh, I have to get this. So, well, that's amazing. That's so powerful that you were like, hey, what if I could expand this and then we could work together? So,
yeah.
And
we did, I mean, I wouldn't say I grew it and he came in. We did grow it together, but I finally had a business where I was like, you know what, we can do this together. And it is a dream and very hard work to work with your. Luckily, we have two different offices. So like, this is my office. He has another office on a different floor of the house, and we don't have to see each other all day long.
That is probably life-saving, life-saving. And now, okay, so I know you've been helping people with social media. You started ghost tweeting, and then it just kind of evolved. And can you tell us a little bit about your journey with your illness?
Yeah, so I was running, and thank you for asking. I've been running a social media agency. It started with the name Ghost Tweeting because it was a cutesy name. When my husband joined, he's like, we need to change that name. It's too cutesy. And I said, I love cutesy. And finally he convinced me we needed to have our parent name, which is Streambank Media. We kind of moved Ghost Tweeting into just the name Streambank Media because it's more professional sounding, which to me is less fun, but we still have fun. Right. And so have been working, we've been growing our team over the years. It's been about a dozen years now. And then in early 2020, before the world, closed down, before, we had all been hearing about this weird thing that may happen in our lives. But before that happened, I got a cancer diagnosis and suddenly had to decide, like, okay, so this path that we all assume we're on, I'm no longer on that path now. And at that point, everything it's weird because people are like, I wonder what I would do or how I would feel if I suddenly got a diagnosis like that. But it is pretty clear. Like, we don't really have to wonder, because it's clearly laid out what to do when you have a cancer diagnosis. There are people to see, there are support groups to join, there are procedures to have, and there are ways to feel. Like, there's this path of grief that they even, map out. Like, you go through these different stages of dealing with it. And I didn't want to do any of that. I actually don't know exactly why or how this came to be. But the moment that I found out I have cancer and I am now going to go through what you go through, I decided I was not going to do what everyone does. I am actually going to turn this into a fun adventure, as crazy as that sounds.
Oh, I love it.
And so that's what I did. I feel like I really did. And in my heart and in my mind, I actually, again, not every moment, certainly most moments were fun, and there was physical pain and emotional pain, but it really was a fun adventure. And then I documented it and shared it. And that was part of the fun for me, was bringing people along on the ride. And so the journey it wasn't lonely. I'm now up to about 200 million views. So I had 200 million eyeballs, or maybe that's 400 million eyeballs on me going through this journey, which made it even more fun. And that turned my mindset on and I'm bringing that into what I do for my clients now too.
I love that. And can you tell us a little bit about the video, the first?
So I was just having fun documenting what I was going through and doing my crazy chemo countdown, like erasing lines on the board and jumping around and dancing. And one day I realized, and this is part of how things can be funny without being in your face jokes. I realized I had lost my hair, and a few weeks later, I realized I was doing things forgetting that I didn't have hair. It started when I put on a shirt and went like this, because I had long hair below my chest.
She was gorgeous.
That was
a very big hair.
My big hair from the 80s. Yeah, my 80s hair never went away. So I put on my shirt and went like this, one time too many. And I was like to take the hair out of the collar. And I went, oh, this is so funny. There's no hair there. And then I thought, what else am I doing because I keep your muscle memory. And I realized there were a few things, and I decided to make a video about it, thinking this is funny. I know it's a weird situation, but it also is funnier because people could see I'm able to find the funny.
Funny. And I just want to underline, you were not trying to go, you were just like, I'm just doing this. I'm not trying to boost my business. I'm just sharing my humanity on this cancer journey. So it was just like to self-express and have joy and fun.
Yeah. I mean, it started for me really as a creative outlet, because I needed something, because each day was, if I didn't feel good enough to get up and work, I still my mind was moving, and I needed something to entertain myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I felt like documenting my journey originally for myself, because I knew when I got through it, I'd want to look back on it. So I would make videos, I'd take notes, I took pictures. And this video was just kind of, I did want people to see and laugh with me, but I didn't realize, and most people can't relate to losing your hair all of a sudden. So I didn't think, that many people, I thought a few of my friends would laugh with me.
Right. Okay. So please continue. Anyway, I just want to underline that, because I think that's the power here.
Yeah, it really is. One of the things is that it was for fun. It was for entertainment for myself. It was to make myself feel better. It was for creativity. It was not to go viral and build my business, like you said. And yet it went viral and built my business. So it reached, that first video, that video is what started my journey to looking at what makes a video go viral, because I posted the video at night and went to sleep. I had gone to sleep with 200 followers on TikTok, and I woke up the next morning and I had 3,000 followers. And I knocked on the door of my TikTok expert, my 14-year-old daughter.
Right.
And I said, excuse me, what happened? I went to sleep with 200 and this morning I have 3,000 followers. And she said, oh, you must have had a video go viral. And I was like, what does that even look like? This was so exciting. So I looked and it had thousands and thousands and thousands, and it ended up having hundreds of thousands of views on the video. And my daughter told me something that I feel like I have chills, because she told me something that is now the thing I share with the world, and I have to give her credit. What she said to me was, you should do a part 2. And I realized what I have always taught my clients when we do social media is look at what's working and do more of that.
Yes.
And that's what she was saying. That worked. Do more of that. So I did a part 2. And at this point I felt emboldened. I'm like,
sure.
I didn't think people could relate to that.
Right.
What I
Who knew?
realized was I was being authentic and silly and looking for the funny in a tough situation, which people need.
Yes.
Especially, this is now the time where all of a sudden the pandemic.
Especially during COVID. My God.
Yeah.
Right.
So now everyone is looking for ways to laugh and feel better. And not every people, there were thousands of comments, and they weren't, I can relate to not having hair. They were all different things, like, oh, that's how I act when I can't find my phone and realize my phone is in my hand. Or that's just like me when I go to reach for my glasses, but they're already on my eyes. Like,
right.
So people are like, it's muscle. So people did relate to it. And then part 2 went to millions of people. And so I decided to do part 3 and 4. And then that's where I discovered what makes a video go viral, and started teaching people like how to make your things relatable and go viral.
I so appreciate it. Wow. Well, so many great things to unpack there, of just like the joy of sharing your experience and not trying to be funny. I'm just like, I think this is funny because it's human. It's human.
Yes.
And that's
Being
what we talk about.
Is funny.
It is, like, that's what I talk about with my clients. Are like, as a comedian, I'm like, everybody has the potential to be funny. It's like, how comfortable are you in your own skin? And you can be funny in a whole different way. So I just love that. And are you recovered now? Mostly?
Yeah. Cancer. I am cancer free. So yes, there's lots of things to go through, but bottom line, I'm cancer free. So thank you.
Yeah. And she has taken lemons and made lemonade. Like, you have this other thing where you say, there's a video of Nika's where she's like, people ask me, why are you going to do another restructuring or whatever?
Reconstruction, yeah.
And then you open the shirt, like, and people go, ah, and it's funny, you know? And
thank you.
I mean, it's just, I just get inspired by people who take things and like, how can I add value to people? Because, for me, TikTok is really, I mean, you have opened me up to TikTok. I came in as an Instagram girl, and TikTok, the platform is, I mean, I love all the platforms in short doses for me, because I get to compare, despair, or whatever. But like, TikTok has become, this platform for all kinds of really cool social movements and acceptance and inclusion and positivity.
I find that too. I think you see the greatest thing, in my opinion, about TikTok is that it shows you what you want to see. So your algorithm, your For You page is going to look completely different, or maybe not. Maybe we like very similar things, but completely different to another person. And you tend to see TikTok figures out who you are and shows you what you want to see. And so I like seeing positive, uplifting things. And other people have said, oh, it's all nasty. I'm like, maybe that's what you look at and respond to, because I don't. So TikTok doesn't show me that stuff.
I say the same thing. I'm like, what are you looking for, right? Like, I always feel like whatever you're looking for, you'll find. And so, yeah. So thank you so much, Nika. You've helped my business and my visibility so much. And, as we're wrapping up here, what is one super tip? What do you feel like I also want to thank you, because I'm not big enough to have a whole social media agency. Those are like the big boys, right? And I'm so grateful that you have this really cool shine thing that you do in your viral video course, because I have access to you and I'm so grateful, because I'm just not ready yet,
Yeah.
you know. And I just love that, because I know you have a special place in your heart for entrepreneurs, because you're such an entrepreneur. And
Mhm.
do you have a message or a super tip to give, especially our female entrepreneurs?
Yes, let's see. One of the biggest things that, and we've already said it, is to, if you're like wondering what to do next, look at what is working best for you. Although I wish we could say, people will say, like, what is the best time to post? Well,
Right.
it depends. It depends on
Right.
your audience and where they are in the world and what they're reacting to. So the number one thing to look for in putting out more content for yourself is what works best for you and your audience, and do more of that. The other thing to remember is the things that really connect with people are these human things, and what's going on in your life is personal to you and it's universally relatable. If you find, especially if you're going through a challenge, and so this is, I think, a really good thing to remember, is instead of posting a writing and talking about the challenge, talk about how you're dealing with it. And that is where people find something that's really relatable. So I mean, to go back to like talking about losing my hair, I could have talked about how I lost my hair and I had to shave it when there were, clumps falling out. I could have talked about that. But instead, I talked about how I was dealing with it, was like finding funny things about it. Or someone else might say, I went to a hair shaving party and when we did. So it's how you're dealing with the issue is much more impactful when you share it than just talking about the issue itself.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I love
And
it.
that's how you garner support for yourself too, if you actually need that. So, and it inspires so many people.
I love that. And one more. So I know that you were very vulnerable. You were bald in this video that went viral, and I know that you had a few negative comments. How did you deal with that?
Ah, yeah. Yeah, it would be so cool if there was an answer to how to deal with the hate.
Just
Um,
magic.
magic, push the button. I have always found, I learned this from watching other people deal with the trolls and the hate. When you have comments that it's so weird, because you could get 10,000 I love you, you're
Right.
amazing,
We love you.
and right,
And
and
one.
oh, you're ugly. I mean, I got your smile makes me throw up, I think was the comment. And here's what's so funny. I can't tell you exactly what the other comments said, all the amazing ones, but I remember specifically it was an emoji. Your smile makes me, and it was the green throw up emoji.
Oh.
But first of all, you only get those comments when you're pushing buttons and you're making a difference, because no one cares if you're not saying anything bold. No one's even looking at your stuff. So we have to remember to be excited that we're touching people, or they wouldn't post something.
Right.
Now, it's easier said than done.
Yes.
But we do have to know, when we get the hate, we have to celebrate it and go, whoa, we're fine. We're there.
I'm
Made
on my
it.
way.
We got
Right.
some hate. And to find the funny in it. So people often will do things like take their hate comments and make them into a video and answer them in a funny way. I mean, someone once said something about me looking old, and then they said I looked like I was 45, which was younger than I am. So I'm like, thank you. Oh my God. Yeah, it's what a nice comment. It's such a nice compliment. So that was my way of dealing with the hate. You find the funny way to respond to it if you can, and then ignore everything else.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I love that. When I first started doing live video, I was sort of like, hi, I don't want to, and I realized, Elaine, I was afraid I was going to get bullied by some other comic. And so, and then, I heard Molly's story, and that really helped me free myself up of like, it's actually a good sign, and how you deal with it can actually, you can turn somebody around. You know,
You can either, and the truth is, I don't think it's our job to turn them. Yes, we certainly can turn them around. Sometimes I've even answered people with love, like, I'm so sorry you're going through so much pain that you felt you had to write this. Sometimes I
oh, that's
get back,
beautiful.
thank you so much. Like it's something like that. So maybe I did touch someone once in a while, but you also will, the more you kind of just be yourself, your audience is going to stand up for you too and go like, oh, shut up, she's amazing. So,
Right.
so they'll stand up for you too. So you just have to be the youest you can
Yep.
be.
I love that, Nika. Well, thank you so much. And I think you have a special gift for our listeners.
Yes.
Our
This is something that was asked for. So I finally put it together in a download, but it's my top 10 viral videos to show you not just here are the videos, but this is why in researching them, they worked and they reach people so that you could steal the ideas and create your own viral videos.
I love it. I love it. So we'll have that link in the show notes and everywhere. And if people
Cool.
wanted to find out more about you, Nika, what's the best place for them to go?
Probably my best link is, you know what? Why don't you go to nika.live/free session. And then if you do want to talk more and see if there's something that I can help you with, we will talk.
Nika.live/free session. Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your generosity and your spirit. And I am just so honored that you were willing to be on this interview and share your beautiful heart. And we're all so glad that you're cancer free and that I can't wait to come see you sing sometime.
Oh, so exciting.
And thanks again for sharing your wisdom and your heart. And bye. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Right. Woo! Okay, everybody clap it up for Nika. Wasn't she inspiring? Her TikTok stuff is hilarious and bold, and I just love her story, and she's a great lesson to me. And you can use social media for good. You really can.